Dave Wilson and Eliot Horowitz. And to give a little background on our two speakers, Dave Wilson is the Senior Director of Infrastructure and Architecture at Paychex. Dave's leadership has really helped raise the bar and establish an IT culture at Paychex, and has really become a leading SaaS provider of HR benefits and payroll solutions. And Eliot is the CTO and co-founder of MongoDB. He wrote the core code for MongoDB. He's on the board of the New York Tech Talent Pipeline. And most recently, he was named to Crane's New York Business 40 Under 40. So please help us invite in. I know we just had our break, so let's have like double the energy. Let's do a giant round of applause for Eliot and Dave.
So I didn't write that little blurb about me, so when he started to say it, I was really nervous what he was going to say, because I had no idea what it was going to be. So I'm Eliot Horowitz, so as I said, I'm the CTO and co-founder of MongoDB. It is a New York-based database company, for those who don't remember. And one thing I wanted to talk about first is just how excited we are to be an actual East Coast-based real tech company. When we started Mongo, all the VCs, all of our first users were, so you guys are going to move to San Francisco, right? We looked at them funny and be like, no, we're pretty happy here, we're not moving. Even when before we went public, a lot of West Coast VCs were like, you guys are still in New York? Like, really? And we're like, yeah, we're still in New York, and we're going public, and we're still not moving to California. So we're incredibly proud that we are on the East Coast. We're working with a lot of East Coast companies, and there are more East Coast tech companies than people realize. And we do a lot to sort of encourage more and more investment in hardcore tech, in getting engineers into the New York area, into the East Coast, sort of changing the perception that Silicon Valley is the place where all tech innovation happens. One of my favorite East Coast anecdotes is we do a lot of hiring directly out of college. And we have an office on the West Coast, in Palo Alto and in San Francisco, and we tend to give people a choice when they're doing internships. Do you want to go to the West Coast or go to the East Coast? It turns out when people are in college and they're thinking about where to go, most of them would much rather be in New York than in Silicon Valley. And I think that's just sort of the East Coast has a lot to offer, and we're sort of trying to do as much as we can to sort of do more and more on the East Coast. So what is MongoDB, and sort of why did we create it? So for those who don't know, we started MongoDB 12 years ago. Actually, today is the exact 12th anniversary of the first line of code. It's totally random, happenchance. And we started MongoDB because as the businesses we were working on were trying to adapt to sort of the modern world, all the databases at the time weren't sufficient for what we were trying to solve. And it really came down to sort of three fundamental problems with the kinds of, with the challenges. First, the data model for traditional databases didn't really fit the way most data worked. Right? MongoDB stores data in JSON. Why? Because most data fits better into a document model than it does into tables and rows. If you're thinking about working with APIs, working with microservices, getting data from other services or other companies, most of that data transformation is happening in JSON. If you're building a web application or a mobile application, what is how are you transferring the data between your back end and your front end? Usually is JSON. And why? Because JSON models data in a way that people can think about. It models data in a way that is sort of much more natural than decomposing all this data into tables and rows. Two, we wanted to take advantage of distributed computing. All right, so in 2007, you could start, EC2 and Amazon weren't quite what they are today, but you can see the trends coming. You can still rent servers by the month as opposed to racking big mainframes. And we wanted to be able to take advantage of having lots and lots of machines around the world working together to build giant databases, as opposed to having to spend more and more dollars on bigger mainframes for high availability, for all the great things you get from distributed systems. And third, we wanted it to be open. Right? We didn't want something that was going to lock us into any vendor, any proprietary stack. We wanted something that was just going to work with sort of all the great technology that we wanted, and give us freedom to run it anywhere, to do what we needed with it. So the other thing that changed is that data is everywhere, and there is an enormous amount of data out there. So $4.9 trillion in e-commerce sales. That's where the world's going. The amount of data associated with that is enormous. And the other thing that's happening is that as the cost of storage gets cheaper and cheaper, and people learn more and more that they can actually get valuable insights out of data, the desire to keep every bit of data you possibly can just goes up. You want to store it, and you want to try to figure out how you can take advantage of it. By 2025, 75 billion IoT devices. Is entirely sure how many people are here? A few hundred people in this room. The number of devices connected to the internet in this room is probably 6 times that number. And half of you have watches that connect to the internet. Everyone's got a phone, everyone's got a computer. So there's a few Fitbits lying around. There's a whole bunch of stuff connected to the internet, and that's just going to go up and up. All that data wants to be plugged into AI, machine learning algorithms, data science algorithms, and take advantage of that data. As improvements in telecommunications out there, you can have devices streaming data to and from anywhere. AR glasses, whatever it is, the data is just going to be sort of the thing that makes everything possible. 3.8 billion smartphone users, and also a lot of cybercrime. So data is the thing that is at the heart of everything we want to do. We want to capture data, store data, use data to enrich our applications, enrich the experiences for our users. And at MongoDB, what we want to do is make that as easy as possible as more and more businesses are trying to adapt to this new world. Modern businesses really are focusing on digital opportunities. For most people, for most of your users, the main interaction they have with you is through your mobile or web application. And that's what you want. Right? For those of you who have a call center or human beings, most likely you don't want your users talking to a human being. Human beings are expensive. You'd much rather than use your applications and have a great experience using your applications. Have a really great mobile experience that's fast and real time and sort of adapts to the way people want to use the mobile experience. A really great web experience. And everything connected, have all the data flowing in real time. Right? Your users don't want delays in, hey, if I made a change on the website and I have to wait 5 minutes to see it on my phone, or if I'm on the phone with someone waiting 30 seconds for that change to get propagated to me. But you want it to all happen in real time. And the face of your application matters a lot. So what are the challenges? What are the kind of things that we have to solve in order to really have these really great experiences for our users? First is we want to automate as much as we possibly can. In a world with a lot of data and a lot of machines, if we have to sort of have people thinking about every operation we want to do and what happens when a machine crashes or a router crashes, it's going to become very, very challenging to actually scale, to actually focus on the things that actually matter. We want to be able to reduce the cost of handling this data. Right? If we have to keep managing the same cost infrastructure for managing 100 times more data than we were storing before, we can't possibly store that much data. We want to take advantage of the fact that we have all these new tools so that we can store 100 times more data at a tenth of the cost. And then what we want to focus on is how do we make our developers as productive as possible? Right? How do we give developers tools so that they can build great applications, great experiences for our users without having to do a ton of work that's not adding value to our users? We want to do this anywhere, for anyone with the phone anywhere, for developers who are remote. You want to be able to work anywhere, have your users anywhere, your users who are flying across the world, and should still have a good experience with your application, even if they fly from Rochester to California. Right? That's the kind of experiences we want. You don't want us to think about disaster recovery. Right? You just want all this built in so you don't have to think about it. Data governance. Right? The amount of laws being created about where data is allowed to live is going to go up and up. Right? Today, if you've got private information for European citizens have to stay in Europe. Germany's actually doing something where it's inside of Germany. Japan has the same thing. Australia's coming out with it. California may come out with it for California. People live in California. So the number of laws requiring where data has to live physically on the planet are exploding. And I imagine over the next 5 years are only going to get more and more strict. Right? So how can you build a system that handles this without making your developers and IT jump through ridiculous numbers of hoops, preventing them from actually building great features for your users. And last but certainly not least is how you get insight from this data. Right? How do you take advantage of the fact that you have this data and do really great stuff with it? So what characterizes modern applications? These are the challenges. What are the things that sort of make up a modern application? What do users actually care about? What do you need to think about? The first is developer productivity. Right? Users want new features faster. The business wants you to be able to develop features as fast as you possibly can. Developers are also expensive. Right? So you want your developers to focus on building great applications to make them as effective as possible and add value to your users. It also turns out that if developers aren't productive, that if doing their job is challenging for whatever reason in your organization, they're probably going to leave. Right? Developers want to work in environments where they can feel like they're adding value every day, and they're not stuck doing a lot of, frankly, boring coding work. So letting them build applications quickly and easily is the best thing you can do for your users and for your developers. No one wants to be stuck in whatever infrastructure that they're in today, or they don't want to be stuck in a deployment architecture that they have they may want to change. Maybe you're in your own data center now and you want to consider going to the cloud. Maybe you're in a public cloud and you want to be able to have the option of going from one public cloud to the other so you don't get locked into one vendor. Maybe you want to have an architecture now that's only based in New York, but you know that, hey, maybe I want to open a business in Europe in a couple of years, and I want to have an infrastructure that lets me scale between the US and Europe without having to rewrite my application or jump through a huge number of hoops later. You want the infrastructure to work for you, not the other way around. And you want a system that can handle really big polymorphic data. Polymorphic data is sort of an interesting concept. So a lot of people say, well, I've got data that's relatively standard, and like I get sensor readings, I have a thing, it's a pay stub, and it's mostly the same. Except one of the things that we see happening a lot is as people store more and more information, and they never want to delete anything, what happens is even things that don't change very often do change over time. And so your data from 5 years ago looks very different than your data today. And you need systems that let you have data from 5 years ago and data from today in the same world, with the same query systems, the same ability to do analysis and get insight from that data without having to rewrite everything and jump through a huge number of hoops to go back and look at that data from before. Otherwise, everything just becomes incredibly challenging. And last, but certainly not least, is everyone's users are impatient and getting more demanding. And the more, as users sort of become younger and younger, more and more impatient. So one of the first applications I built was about 20 years ago. And every Saturday, we took the application down for 4 hours to do database maintenance. 20 years ago, that was completely acceptable. Today, can you imagine taking your website down for 4 hours? For most websites, that's not even something you can consider at all. Users want things in real time, they want new features now, they want it to always work. And if it doesn't, they're going to go somewhere else. So MongoDB, we believe, is the best database for modern applications. So why is that? Well, one, it addresses these exact challenges that we have. So the first is that we let you store data in documents. Two is that we really take advantage of distributed systems. So you get great benefits without having to have adding a huge operational complexity to your system. And you can run it anywhere. So let's talk about data. It really comes down to letting you store your data in the most efficient way, how you can manage it as simply as possible, and how you can continue to sort of add more and more things around it so you don't have to pile together 15 different systems in order to do one thing. So, first, document model and distributed systems. We'll talk about what the document model really means. We talked about, so one of the things that we did at MongoDB recently was actually add ACID transactions. So those who know MongoDB, it is a document database It's always been sort of in the NoSQL space. And one of the things that people always assumed about MongoDB is, oh, it doesn't have transactions. It's really meant for more of as a toy application, things like that. And so we added ASM transactions a year ago, then we added them for distributed systems a few months ago. And what people have started to realize is that the thing that matters the most for your data is letting you store it in ways that's very effective for your developers. So if you take a very simple example, one of my favorite examples. Let's imagine you're trying to build a very simple address book to keep track of your friends. And in this address book, you're doing it in Microsoft Excel. Because at the end of the day, a relational database is basically a really fancy version of Excel. Think about it long enough, you'll believe me. So you're building your address book. Fine, you got a first name column, a last name column, and an email address column. Very straightforward. Now you want to add an address. So you find you add address 1, address 2, city, state, zip. Done, easy. What if I want to store a work address and a home address? What do I have to do? Home underscore address 1, home underscore address 2, et cetera, work, et cetera, et cetera. What if I want to store past addresses? What if you've got like 3 addresses? What if you move every 2 years and you've lived in 20 places and you want to have a list of all of them? How do you model that in Microsoft Excel? Well, you don't want to have 100 columns for addresses. That would make your Excel spreadsheet very hard to work with. So you end up making a separate sheet with the addresses and you link them together. And that's not terribly efficient, nor terribly fun as a developer or as just a human being to go and understand what's going on. And so we're letting you store everything in documents, but you put everything about a person, like everything you know about Eliot, into a document, but still get the ability to query it, to index it, and to search it. And we think that letting your developers and letting your users think in this way, whether it's with MongoDB or anything else, it just adds a lot of productivity to everything that you're going to do. So what does a document model really mean? Natural modeling, letting you store data in the way that's natural for the data, not to fit into a relational model. 2, in a way to query it that's very effective. So you can just query it in ways that are easy and intuitive for you and your developers. Letting you change the schema as things change over time. Distributed systems. Distributed systems really come down to 4 big advantages that you should be thinking about as you're building applications. One is high availability. Right? If a machine crashes, you shouldn't care. Period, end of story. Scaling out. As your data volumes increase, as your throughput needs go up, you should just be able to add machines and not think about it. If you have to re-architect or do a lot of work when you get more data or more users, something's wrong. One of the cool things you can do with Mongo is that you can actually have different nodes in the same cluster dedicated for different purposes. So for example, let's say you want to go through analytics and transactions off the same data set. You can have, say, hey, these nodes are for transactions, these nodes are for analytics. Same system, same replication, same everything else, it just lets your users, for different purposes, use different machines so they can't stomp on each other. And last, but certainly not least, is this ability to put data in the same cluster in different geographies. So let's say you've got some users in New York and some users in California and some users in Europe. You can put the data for the people who live in New York in New York, the data for the people who live in California, and data for the people who live in Europe in Germany. The data lives in those places. You can query anyone from anywhere. You have the option of putting a copy of everyone's data in every data center if you want to. If you can legally, some cases you can, some cases you can't. And this gives you 2 big advantages. One is that there's data governance laws that say you have to keep certain data in certain places. And 2, it means that users have incredibly low latency access to your data, no matter where on the planet you are. When you're trying to build really fast, very responsive applications, getting data across an ocean or across the country starts to matter. And having the best applications means having the fastest applications. When you're sort of operationalizing MongoDB, there's a lot of moving parts. We have a lot of tools to make managing it very easy. I'm going to go very quickly. All things are about making sure it's fully available, fully monitored, backed up, APIs for everything we do. We've got two main ways of doing it at MongoDB. One is through our ops manager, which is for people mostly doing things in their own data centers on premise, and then it works with any Kubernetes distribution, so whether it's open source Kubernetes or OpenShift or PKS, it all works. We also have MongoDB Atlas. So MongoDB Atlas is our database as a service for MongoDB that lets you just go to Atlas, put in a credit card, and get a database cluster in a matter of minutes. You can scale it up, scale it down. Super easy to manage. You can have clusters across the globe. It will scale. It will actually scale up and down automatically for you as your volume goes up if you want. It'll do things like add indexes for you if you want. And it's got a lot of security baked in that we're not going to go through. These SOC, ISO, fun things that people care about, so you can store credit cards and healthcare data. The other thing we're doing, and that we think really matters for modern applications, is not forcing you to have lots of different systems for the same kind of data. So one thing we released a couple months ago was text search directly in Atlas. So you can have the same data that you're doing all your transactional work with, and do full text search directly on that data without having to do something else. Same with visualization and charting. We've got a new thing that lets you charting and visualizations of data. The coolest thing here is that you can actually build a chart or dashboard in this really nice UI, but then go embed it directly into your application. But a lot of applications people want to build actually want to have sort of real-time panels, a dashboard for your users. And with this, you can actually design it in a GUI and then plug it into your application no matter where it is. Triggers for your database, so you can respond in real time to events. We work with Kafka, and a new thing for mobile users and mobile development called Realm. And the last cool thing I'll mention is this Atlas data lake. One of the other challenges people have today is this enormous volume of data. And this data, the cheapest way to store this data is on systems like Amazon S3, where you're storing massive volumes of data directly, sort of whether it's in Google or Azure or S3. And what this lets you do is query that data, no matter what format it is, whether it's JSON or CSV or Parquet, while it's on S3 without having to move it anywhere, running the same regular Mongo queries you can run anywhere else. So if you've got enormous amounts of data sitting on S3 and you just want to query it, you can go in a matter of minutes, just query it without having to do any other work. We've got a whole service around legacy modernization. We do a lot of work with people helping to get off of mainframes, trying to move into the public cloud, a whole variety of things. So come check that out. Here are some examples. I'm not going to do them all. Same with Coinbase for more modern applications. And one of our favorite customers is Paychex. And to talk about how Paychex is using MongoDB and how they're modernizing, I'd like to invite David Wilson up.
Thank you, Eliot. Appreciate Eliot had to fly up here this morning and had a little bit of fun getting in. And it's because of great partners like MongoDB and several of the other partners that are here today that I'm able to share about Paychex and some of the great ways that we leverage these types of technologies in digital transformation. Again, I'm Dave Wilson. I'm a local Rochesterian, born and raised, an RIT alumni, and I have the opportunity today to talk to you as a part of our senior leadership team responsible for architecture and infrastructure at Paychex. And it's not without the great team of people that we have and the awesome work that they do that I wouldn't be here to talk about digital transformation at Paychex. So a quick overview of what Paychex is and what we are today. We have over 670,000 customers, over 100 locations, 16,000 employees, 12 million customers are paid through Paychex. We have approaching quickly $4 billion in revenue, and we do everything from HR, payroll, benefits, and insurance, a very wide range of products. And that, to share with you today, is in a competitive market space that is constantly changing, that has a customer base that relies on us for critical things. How many of you in this room like to get paid? Well, not many of you. I'm sure your bosses all love you then. If we can't pay, if we can't insure, if we can't engage with our customers who rely on us consistently, we are not going to be in business anymore, and we would not be able to share and be the company that sits in front of you today. That company that started 48 years ago started as a service company first. A company that was there to help you to run your business. And digital transformation and the demands of the industry have changed it into the demand into being a technology service, a technology-enabled service company. We have 1,500 IT employees in Paychex, 120 agile teams. We have to consume both public and private cloud, multiple data centers. Eliot's talked about on-premise and in the cloud. Paychex has near far data centers to enable disaster recovery. And we're on the forefront of leveraging continuous delivery and DevOps to enable these services. And all of that is crucial to set the stage that transformation started 10 years ago. That transformation has largely taken place at Paychex, but I'm here to tell you that digital transformation isn't a journey. Digital transformation is a life cycle that continues to go on and on. And if we had stopped, if we had said we have achieved where we are and we have launched some products and we have been successful, then we would be lacking in the opportunity to talk about today the investments that we continue to make in technology and partners like MongoDB. We launched our flagship application Flex about 5-6 years ago. It consistently has grown. It was a mobile-first design that's adaptive and reactive to what our customers need. That means if I program one feature, it is immediately available where our customers want it, how they want it, and when they want it. That platform serves over 3 million monthly users, has a 5-star app rating, and we delivered that platform that's required to meet thousands, hundreds of thousands of regulatory demands, nearly 50 million, you want to talk about scale up, 50 million time punches, and 100 million reports. And I share that with you guys because to show the scale and scope of a company like Paychex that needs to not only maintain that critical feature and function for our customers, but also needs to recognize that we're never done. This never stops. This consistently grows on. And you have to be willing, ready, and able as technologists to consume new technologies, to reevaluate what you have in front of you, and to not rest on the success that you've seen before. All of us in this room would look at each other and say we're technologists. And I want to challenge you that we're not just technologists. We're business leaders. This morning, I think it was Eva who talked about questioning your identity. What do you identify as? Do you identify as a technologist, or do you identify yourself as a business leader? And the truth in digital transformation is recognizing when technologists transition into business leaders that find business problems to look toward technology to solve. And today I want to talk to you about a use case in Paychex, all of that baseline of what Paychex has done and the success that we've had, and still the life cycle that we go through every day, every week, every month, to talk about how we can continue to do better. And today's use case I want to talk to you about is specifically around our 401k application. I'm sure many of you in this room have a 401k and you recognize the importance of 401k. Paychex's 401k is ranked very high. We are one of the top 3 producers or record maintainers for 401k. And what we saw as a business opportunity is our enrollment for our clients and their employees was abnormally low when it came to using 401k. And that's missing an opportunity. It's missing an opportunity for Paychex to grow. It's missing an opportunity for our customers who offer 401k to their employees to actually have that service provide that value. And it's losing the opportunity for our client employees to have a retirement plan in place that they're contributing to on a regular basis. Our customers, and I'm sure many of you experience this too, and Eliot referred to it, want instant gratification. They want an application that's always available, that's simplified, that's consumerized, that's ridiculously performant. When I talk about ridiculously performant, I'm talking about Google search speeds. Nobody hits Google and goes and grabs a cup of coffee, right? I think they measure their speeds in decimal places. I'm talking about simple to use, like a 2-year-old watching Peppa Pig on their iPad. Simple. These are demands that our customers are consistently asking us for, and we recognize, while successful in starting our digital transformation, that we needed to double down and reevaluate, and we felt that this was an opportunity in front of us. If we could do this, it was a win across the board. So the business problem, specifically 401k, needed to improve. Why did it need to improve? As I outlined, it was a benefit for everybody. So our solution, our focus, was around developing an adaptive application enabling fast and resilient participant enrollment. Participation inside of a 401k is the basis of success. The application that we developed, and I'll talk about the method that we went through, now allows enrollment in 3 clicks and takes less than 30 seconds. It can be done on any device. Our customers don't want to talk to people. I don't know about many of you, but my first go-to oftentimes is not to call somebody up to enroll in my 401k or to make an auto-enrollment change. I just want the technology to be available and for it to work. And oftentimes, after my busy day with home and family, I'm doing that change when? On the couch, watching Parks and Recreation, trying to find the spare 15 seconds to make a change or do an enrollment. And now our technology needed to catch up with that. And how did we do that? Well, we had a legacy application that was online already. It was successful. We had people using it. We were the top 3 record keepers for 401k. So we needed to modernize a legacy architecture without transforming and without taking forever to do that. Now, I'm a little geeky here, and I apologize, but we are a room full of geeks, correct? Well, nobody's a geek in here. Maybe I'm a geek. I apologize, but I will identify as a geek. And I want to talk a little bit. We recognized that we needed a modern application stack surrounding a legacy data store. And so we built a microservices architecture that leveraged an out-box pattern. We talked about you can't take a website down for seconds. How many of you like to go to Facebook and see it down? Or Instagram and see it down? Nobody wants to go to their 401k site and see it down. And so we delivered an infrastructure that used MongoDB as an example here, on top of plenty of other technologies I'll talk through, that allows us to write to Mongo and read right from Mongo, and then as eventuality catches up, we can write that out to that legacy system. We performance tuned for high demand reads. Most of the time, 401k was a read operation, and we recognize that, so we tuned the application to allow for that. We updated our architecture while leaving the legacy platform in place. The availability of this system that went live in 2018 is now 7 nines of availability. We were able to deliver that. 7 nines is less than 4 seconds of downtime. So, we were able to deliver that, this new modernized architecture, while maintaining our legacy applications. And ultimately, we were able to stage data that allowed for sales demos. So not only was our employees and our employee base, customers, employees able to benefit, but our sales organization was as well. It was a win-win across the board. We leverage partners, and one of the things I want to challenge you guys as technologists, business leaders in the room, is your partners in this room are those that can help you accomplish your goals. I think in this modern world, on this East Coast technology pride that Eliot talked about, we all in this room can help each other. Vendors and partners can help each other, and we leverage technologies like Mongo and OpenShift, Docker, Java, Spring, that allows us to deliver a modern application in a short amount of time that met world-class availability and performance needs. So what did this success look like? Dave, you've talked to us about Paychex. the opportunities that you had, the investment that you made, what was the return that you got? And one of the things I'm most proud about for the team at Paychex that we were able to do was to turn this into an amazingly successful experience. And so the first, we increased enrollment 24% since the first release. 35 completion improvement for users that started to finish their enrollment. Our mobile consumption went up 33%. 7,000 participants inside of our platform consumed a new feature around auto increase. We had 0 downtime patching and updates in deployments inside of our platform, allowing us to make changes quickly and easily without our customers ever knowing the difference. Our enrollment transaction was a second and a half, and hundreds of customer demos have taken place. This is, when we talk about digital transformation, we talk about technology leadership, when we talk about business leadership, the confluence of partnering with technology providers, understanding business opportunity, and the marriage of those two things with a world-class IT staff that we all have, an IT talent pool that we have here in Rochester, shows the opportunity that we have to make and deliver success. And my challenge to you guys in this room is if Paychex can do it, then all of you guys can do it too. We're not done. And I didn't want this to just be an example of one example of things that we're focused on at Paychex. Some things that I think that you guys should recognize that are down and around the corner. Chatbots. In December, we're launching a brand new chatbot that allows you to have multi-conversational engagement with Paychex without having to engage with our service providers. We have a world-class service provider organization. If you want to talk to a human, we'll be there for you. If you don't want to talk to a human, we'll have a world-class chatbot for you. We also are launching a world-class help center application. We leverage robotic process automation to help those redundant, remedial, consistently operated tasks to be automated. We have a new payroll user grid that's being launched. We have a new HR revitalization application to allow HR professionals to engage with Paychex around performance management, one-on-ones, recruiting. Speaking of recruiting, we also have an Indeed integration that we have launched to allow you to use the recruiting platform that you want. We have a new API integration platform. There have been many people that have talked about API today. These examples are where I show to you guys that technology married with business opportunity is what digital transformation is. We are more than technologists. We are business leaders. And that's if there's a takeaway today that I would like you to have, and that I would like Eliot and I would like you to have, is that partners with technologists and business leaders enable digital transformation. At the end of the day, digital transformation is just a hype term that is technologists embracing their role as business leaders. And Paychex is proud to be a part of the Rochester community. I'm proud to be a part of the Rochester community. We recognize that if somebody in our own backyard, like Paychex, is able to be successful and embrace these technologies, that we should be willing and able to contribute back to the community. And that's something that I want to commit to you guys today. We are willing to participate, we're willing to help out, we're willing to engage with you, to share the successes, to bounce ideas off of each other. And we feel like one of the best ways to do that is with our Rochester Infrastructure Group. It's over 300 members. We host this event. It doesn't need to be us, but we want this event on a monthly basis to highlight technology advancements and technology opportunities. Better yet, business opportunities and business advancement inside the Rochester community. And we invite you. We want you to come and participate. You can check it out at the meetup URL below. And we've done things all the way from how we consume Azure Cloud, to how we leverage App Dynamics, to how we consume and leverage Splunk, to how we partner with great people like Eliot and his organizations to deliver applications. And we would love to see you participate and engage with us. With that, I want to invite Eliot back up to talk about to take questions from all of you. With that, I want to say thank you. Thank you for inviting me and Eliot to present to all of you guys today. It's exciting. I am proud to be part of the East Coast Technology Wave. Rochester is part of that East Coast Technology Wave, and it's not without people like you in this room, business leaders, that we wouldn't be able to offer a great event and participate in a great event like today. So with that, I'll open it up for questions. Who's got the first one? We're going to do this awkward stare at each other. Yeah. I think is there a mic? She's walking with a mic.
So I think the reputation for Paychex was old, stodgy, mainframes, things like that. How much resistance culturally did you run into as you made this transformation?
Thanks for reminding us that our we traditionally see it as old and stodgy. Part of the reason why we're here today is to show you guys that we aren't old and stodgy. But I think it's a great question. Culturally, two things that we've had to work with. One, I would say that a vast majority of our technologists, and there's a bunch of them standing in the back that I can see, I'm going to see how well their heads go up and down on this. They were hungry for change. They were hungry for the opportunity. I think what we needed to do was recognize that it doesn't start with just being a technologist and geeking out about cool stuff. Because if you only geek out about cool stuff, which by the way, there's plenty of it to geek out about, you're going to fail, and your business leaders, your CEOs, your CFOs aren't going to step up and say, yeah, it's ready to make that investment. And so we had a great executive team who saw around corners and a hungry IT organization that was ready to jump on it, and it was really just about embracing it and recognizing that that's the future. And we've got plenty of examples of companies who haven't embraced that and haven't continued to embrace that inside of Rochester, and we decided that we were clearly not going to be one of those, and we were going to transform it. And now we're doing as much as we can to get people to recognize that we're not that anymore. And we want to get out in the community, and we want to share about the successes that we've had. And we want other companies to be just as successful as we've had. Because we're here in Rochester and we're not going. Yeah.
Can you speak to how transitioning to DevOps kind of changed your philosophy and patching and handling and keeping the 5 nines or 7 nines?
Yeah. So the question for those in the room was, can I explain how transitioning to DevOps has impacted, I'm going to paraphrase here, kind of our traditional IT operations processes around patching and server management. It's been transformational. I'll use patching as an example. We had to deliver a patching, an automated patching framework that enabled zero downtime. So we had to make investments in the technology that allowed us to pull servers in and out, or partner with companies like Mongo that deliver sharding and multi-data center capabilities to patch. And then we had to enable, as the IT infrastructure director, we had to enable either auto patching that just takes care of it for automatically, or our dev partners the ability to do it themselves. So they weren't relying on us anymore. I will tell you that it's kind of one of those be careful what you ask for, because a lot of our development partners are like, yes, I get to handle my own patching, and that lasted for about 30 days. And then it was like, no, I don't want to handle my own patching anymore. And then they consume auto patching, and away we go. To be fair, I'm painting with a little bit of a broad brush, but there was definitely some of that. We had to build delivery teams that were associated directly with our Agile teams, that they took their backlog and their work directly from those Agile teams for fulfillment. We talked about OpenShift up here and containers. Our development organization can now deploy their own containers without ever engaging with our IT operations folks. That allows us to deliver modern applications either on-premise or in the cloud, from architecture through to software release, with my infrastructure teams being platform providers, not wrench turners and server builders. And that's transformational from a DevOps perspective too. Now I'll tell you, and I'm sure that my partners in the back will tell me this too, you get there and you're like, yeah, spike the football, we've done this, and then the next 10 problems show up, or the next 10 opportunities show up. So that's why I say it's that life cycle that's constantly evolving. It's not a journey, it's a life cycle that needs to occur as you talk about digital transformation in DevOps. Probably